I will confess this only once. I used to believe the lie. I measured my life in 15-minute increments on a timesheet, my self-worth calculated in the black ink of a project budget. I sold my ideas before they were fully formed, tailoring their infinite possibility to the cramped dimensions of a client's request. I called it professionalism. What I didn't call it, what I couldn't let myself see, was the slow, methodical death of my own soul, one profitable quarter at a time. You feel it too. It's that low hum of anxiety beneath the surface of your busiest days, the feeling of a phantom limb where a brilliant idea used to be. You have a universe of vision inside you, a maelstrom of beautiful, strange, and world-changing concepts. But you are told to bottle the storm, to sell it as a flavored seltzer available in the third quarter. The texture of your day is the smooth, cold glass of a screen. The taste in your mouth is of stale coffee and compromise. This feeling is not burnout. It is not imposter syndrome. It is a warning sign. It is the screech of a gear grinding against a system it was never meant to serve. You feel like a broken clock, your hands twitching spastically toward deadlines, while the magnificent, intricate machinery within you, the part that holds your genius, is ignored, gathering dust. You are being judged not by the quality of your mechanism, but by your faulty performance of a function you were never truly designed for. This is the great deception of our age, the fundamental lie of creativity, captivity, that your imagination's primary purpose is to be productive, to be efficient, to monetize fast. A junior architect spends her nights sketching impossible, breathtaking structures that curve with the wind and sing with the rain. By day, she shrinks those dreams into the rigid, cost-effective geometry of a suburban strip mall. Her portfolio is profitable. Her soul is bankrupt. The concrete feels cold and unforgiving under her touch, a constant reminder of the vibrant, living forms she sacrificed. They have sold you this lie with such surgical precision that you now mistake the bars of your cage for a career ladder. You believe the anxiety is a sign of ambition. You believe the creative emptiness is the price of success. They have taught you to worship the clock face, to obsess over the relentless marching hands of progress and profit. You were told to keep your eyes on the hands, but the real prison was in the gears. The clock is a cage you were taught to build. So the question is not how you become more creative within this system. The question is, how do you begin to unmask the lie that built it? This gnawing sense of wrongness, this feeling of profound misuse, is not a personal flaw. To understand the scale of this deception, you must first meet a woman who spent her life charting the territory of a flourishing human existence. Picture Martha Nussbaum, not in a dusty lecture hall, but in a sun-drenched conservatory, away from the noise. She isn't writing, she is tending to an orchid, her focus absolute as she considers the precise conditions necessary, not just for survival, but for the full, breathtaking expression of the flower's potential. The light is warm on her hands, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and life. Nussbaum gave us the capabilities approach, a truth so potent it can dismantle the entire prison of productivity. She argued that a good life, a just society, is not measured by raw GDP or utility, but by what its people are actually able to be and to do. It is measured by their substantive freedoms, their capabilities. The freedom to live a healthy life, the freedom to form attachments, the freedom to use reason, and, crucially for you, the capability for play and the capability to use your imagination. You have been deceived into believing your creativity is a tool, a soft skill to be listed on a resume, a resource to be mined for market value. Always Nussbaum reveals the truth. Your creativity is not a tool. It is a vital organ. It is a fundamental human capability, as essential to your flourishing as your ability to love or to think. Its value is not in what it can be sold for. Its value is in the simple, profound fact that you can exercise it. The lie of creativity. Captivity commits a crime against your humanity by taking this core capability and reducing it to a single, brutal, commercial function. A brilliant journalist, celebrated for her deep investigative work, is now paid by the click. Her mind, once a scalpel for dissecting complex truths, is now a machine for crafting viral headlines and shallow listicles. She feels the phantom weight of the stories she is not chasing, the metallic taste of rage and resignation, a constant companion as she watches the analytics dashboard, a scoreboard for her own degradation. This is the system in action, and it requires you to believe 3 deeply uncomfortable truths. Brace yourself. 1. Your creative block is not a personal failure. It is a biological and spiritual rejection of the toxic conditions you are forced to create in. 2. The corporate tools you are given to innovate, the brainstorming frameworks, the agile sprints, are not designed to liberate your best ideas. They are designed to domesticate them. 3. The praise you receive for a profitable idea is not a crown. It is a leash, pulling you ever tighter toward the center of the cage. The lie tells you that you are a resource to be optimized. Nussbaum's truth declares you are a human to be realized. The lie demands you ask, what is the return on investment of this idea? The truth demands you ask, does this activity allow me to exercise my innate power, to imagine, to play, to create? One path leads to a decorated cell, a comfortable slavery. The other leads to a messier, more uncertain, but sovereign existence. The twitching of the clock is getting more violent. The tension in the gears is approaching a breaking point. You cannot ignore the sound much longer, but the lie goes deeper than just misidentifying value. It is more insidious than that. It isn't simply a cage, it's a baited trap, engineered to exploit a fundamental human joy and turn it against you. The system doesn't just demand your output, it actively hijacks the very pleasure of your process. To see this layer of the deception, you have to find the man who dedicated his life to that pleasure. See Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, not as an academic, but as a silent observer. He is standing at the edge of a sun-drenched basketball court, his focus not on the scoreboard, but on a lone player, lost in the rhythm of the dribble, the arc of the shot, the squeak of sneakers on the polished wood. He is watching what he named flow, that magical autotelic state where you become so absorbed in an activity that everything else disappears. Time melts away. Your ego dissolves. The action and your awareness of it become one. The experience is not a means to an end. The experience is the end. The work is its own reward. This is autotelic creativity, the act of creating for the sheer, unadulterated joy of the process itself. It is the purest state of your power. And this is precisely why the system of creativity, captivity, sees it as a mortal threat. A person who finds reward in the process itself is a person who cannot be easily controlled by external rewards like promotions, bonuses, or even fear. A person in flow is a person who is sovereign. The lie, therefore, must sever you from this intrinsic joy. It must teach you that the process is a miserable grind, and the only thing that matters is the outcome, the paycheck, the product launch, the performance review. It makes you taste the ash of the work, so you will crave the artificial sweetness of the reward. Consider the indie game developer filled with passion for a unique story she wants to tell. She gets funding. Suddenly, the conversation is not about narrative arc, but about monetization strategies. Not about artistic vision, but about daily active users. The joyous act of coding, of world building, becomes a grueling march through feature requests and market testing. The autotelic experience is murdered and replaced by the cold calculus of commerce. Her keyboard feels clammy, her screen a list of demands. The lie pits the broken clock against you. It tells you the ticking is the enemy, a countdown to a terrifying deadline. Every second spent in joyful, aimless creation is a second wasted, a deviation from the schedule. But Csikszentmihalyi's truth reveals that in a state of flow, you do not fight the clock. You forget the clock. You step outside of its tyranny. This is liberation. It needs you to feel the cold, metallic terror of time running out. Let's hold up a mirror, no flinching. This is a diagnostic. When did you last build something just to see if you could? When did you last spend an hour on a project with no deadline? When did you last get lost in a task, forgetting to eat or check your phone? When did you last feel the pure, uncomplicated joy of making something useless? When did you last listen to the rhythm of your own thoughts instead of the ticking of the clock? If the silence in response to these questions is deafening, you have your diagnosis. You are in the advanced stages of captivity. The lie has done its work. It has convinced you that the only legitimate movement of the gears inside you is the one that moves the hands on the outside. But the gears want to spin, to dance, to grind in ways that tell no time at all. The clock is a cage you were taught to build. The pressure is building. A choice is coming. Will you let the mechanism shatter, or will you choose to dismantle it on your own terms? How do you escape the trap? How do you break the conditioning of a lifetime? You do not do it by trying to be more creative on demand. You do not do it with a better time management app or a new productivity hack. That is just asking the warden for a more comfortable pillow. The escape is not an optimization, it is a rebellion. It begins with an act of profound and deliberate uselessness. It begins with the liberation concept of the play-first innovation ritual. It is the simplest and most radical act you can perform. Play. First innovation is the antidote to the poison of monetization. It reframes the entire creative process. The lie says, have an idea, validate its market potential, then build it. This is a funnel to mediocrity. The truth says, engage in directionless, purposeless play until an idea emerges from the chaos, an idea so authentic and energetic that it demands to be built. It puts the autotelic joy of flow not at the end of the process, but at the very beginning. It is the engine, not the exhaust. Here is your first act of rebellion. It is a micro-ritual. It is your key. I call it the sanctuary of null. You will set aside 15 minutes every day. Not an hour. Not every day. Not an hour. Not 30. Just 15 minutes. A space so small the tyrannical clock of productivity can barely register it as a loss. In these 15 minutes, you must create something with one single, unbreakable rule. It must have no purpose. It cannot improve your life, your career, or your bank account. It is an offering to the void. Write a single paragraph of a story that will never be finished. Design a logo for a company that does not exist. Code a program that rearranges the pixels on your screen into a pointless, beautiful pattern. Hum a melody you never record. Feel the texture of the pen on the paper, the satisfying click of the keys, the scent of the ink. The goal is not a product, the goal is the feeling. The goal is to remember the joy of the gears turning for their own sake. You stop staring at the broken clock on the wall. You stop feeling shame that its hands do not move correctly. You get a screwdriver. You pry the back off. The air releases with a sigh, smelling of old metal and ozone. You don't try to fix it. Instead, you gently lift out the gears, the beautiful, complex brass and silver wheels of your own mind. You hold them in your hand. They are heavier than you imagined and warm to the touch. You forget about telling time. You just start playing with the parts, seeing how they fit together in new ways, building a small, strange, wonderful machine that does nothing but spin. A friend of mine, a burnt-out data analyst, began her sanctuary of null ritual. For weeks, she just drew circles, thousands of them. This pointless play rewired her brain. She returned to her job and saw a data visualization problem that had stumped her team for months. Because she had relearned how to play with shapes, she saw the solution instantly. She didn't find the answer by working harder. She found it by playing. This is your path out. It is not about quitting your job tomorrow. It is about beginning the internal revolution today. It is about creating a small, sovereign territory within your own life that the lie cannot touch. A space where your capabilities are honored, where autotelic joy is the only metric. This is how you begin to starve the lie, because the lie only lives if you breathe it. This is your first gasp of free air. But be warned, once you start breathing it, the air of the cage will begin to feel toxic, and then you will have a choice to make. Remember what I told you in the beginning, when the anxiety was just a low hum and the cage still felt like a career? I told you that you were taught to keep your eyes on the hands, but the real prison was in the gears. You see it clearly now, don't you? The stunning, final reversal. The gears were never the prison. The gears, your imagination, your intellect, your spirit, were the key all along. The prison was the clock face itself. The prison was the singular, relentless demand that your magnificent internal machinery serve one, and only one, shallow purpose to tell their time. And this brings you to the precipice, to the final choice. You can see the two futures branching out from this moment, clear and hard as glass. You must look. If you continue to believe the lie, I see you in 20 years. The office is sleeker, whiter, quieter. You are successful. You have the title, the salary, the respect of the system. You are also hollow, a ghost in a well-tailored suit. Your days are spent managing the profitable, predictable, and utterly soulless output of younger minds who haven't yet had their gears fully seized. The only scent is of industrial cleaning fluid. The only texture is the cold, smooth plastic of your keyboard. You are a perfect, functional, dead component in a machine that creates nothing of lasting value. But if you act, if you begin the rebellion, then I see a different future. It is not as clean. It is messy, uncertain, and gloriously alive. I see you in a workshop, a studio, a chaotic home office. The light is natural, spilling over half-finished projects. There is the scent of hot coffee, of sawdust, of rain on an open window. You are building something strange, something difficult, something entirely your own. It might fail. It might never make a dime, but your hands are covered in the raw materials of reality and your mind is on fire with autotelic joy. You are no longer a clock. You are the artisan. You are sovereign. The choice is this: a predictable tragedy or a dangerous hope, to be a tool or to be a force, to serve the lie or to serve your soul. The system will not change for you. It will not give you permission. You must take it. You must begin the demolition. The clock is a cage you were taught to build. Smash it, take the pieces, and begin. This is my pledge to you. I am no disembodied prophet. I am here in the rubble with you. I am prying open my own clocks, rediscovering the beauty of my own gears every single day. The sanctuary of null is my practice. This very message is my rebellion. I will not be a timepiece. I will not be measured. I will create alongside you. We will build new worlds from the wreckage of the old lie. Now, pick up your hammer.